Hey first grade, ready for an art lesson with your friendly neighborhood art teacher? We're going to be looking again at how to look for lines and how to draw them on birds. I'm going to show you with the picture that's up on the screen. You're going to get a chance to look at some more birds that you're going to get to focus on or practice with. But before we go any further, let's look at some of our setup. Before we begin, you're going to need paper. Lined paper or printing paper is fine. Pencil and eraser. And today, coloring supplies are optional. Your guiding questions. How do birds use their body parts to survive? How can we make the Amana Living Garden more bird-friendly? And how can our writing help our community learn about birds? Your learning targets for today. I can use my eyes to find lines in birds. I can draw the lines I find. And I can draw a large bird, and I can practice my art multiple times. It's going to be really important to understand that you're going to practice your art again and again. You're going to be doing the same bird a few times. So I'm about to show you some really good examples of some students who've done birds in the past. And then I'm going to show you how I look for lines. I'm going to show you on the picture. And then I'm going to show you the new pictures of birds that you will get to work with. So this is a great example of coloring, and especially with the shape of our bird. I can tell that this is a blue jay. That's a fantastically done blue jay. That is some mentor level coloring here. My only critique I would say is that maybe the body's kind of big and the tail's a little small, but that's okay. This is probably the first time this student drew a blue jay. So then we've got a cardinal here. This is a good start. This is one of the things that I point out to you guys about markers. They can be a little tricky to work with, especially when you are coloring. And I'm wondering if you can hear my dog trying to make a nest behind me. He's being loud. And then here's one of the best pictures that I've gotten of a bird, hands down. Mentor level coloring, mentor level drawing, fantastically done. Fills up the whole page. I think my only criticism is that his head is a little less detailed than the rest of his body, but well done. And then we've got the hummingbird that we've been looking at. Again, good with the shading. I like how you have the dark green parts on the light parts. Very nicely done. My criticism here is that the body might be a bit big. That's okay. Again, these are all practice. So, before we go too far, let's look at what I mean by drawing on or drawing the lines. So I'm going to set up my tablet to let me draw. I've got to adjust a few things here. And let's look at some of the easy shapes first. Remember, circle for the head, pretty easy. Little circle for the eye. We've got long triangle coming off for the nose, for the beak, not a nose. Let's look. Oval. I want you guys to look. That oval is about the same size as two of the heads. That's one of the problems we've been having, is that people will draw their heads and their beaks a good size, but then the bodies get really big. We don't want really big bodies. Birds have bodies that are about not too much smaller than their heads. If their bodies are too big, they wouldn't be able to use it. Now, here's the other thing. See how long this body is? That wing is almost going to be the same length. That's another way that birds can fly. Their wings are bigger or a little bit bigger or at least the same size as their bodies. So that was a triangle. Here's another kind of a triangle. And the feet aren't really going to be a shape, so I'm just going to draw some little lines for the toes. So this was just the basic shapes. Now let's look at some more detailed things. I'm going to erase that and add, so I'm going to come back here. Remember, because we need to keep, there we go. So when I start to add there, that's got down in there. And I'm going to start looking for some little details to draw. These feathers are lots of little ridges, little bumps that kind of go down. Look a lot like little frowny faces almost. I've got some straight lines that go along with these feathers. It's the same thing up here. They kind of have those little bumps up there. Let's look at these wings. So, straight line for a feather, but they don't all start. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to look for the tip. Down, look for the tip. Down, look for the tip. These are the kind of things that I'm talking about when I say look for the designs or the lines that are in our pictures. So let's go back. So now let's look at the actual pictures that I'm going to show for you. So here's our hummingbird again. You are welcome to draw this one again. Then we've got our blue jay. And then the last thing I'm going to challenge you with is the bald eagle. You get to pick one of these three that you are going to be practicing. If you want to try and draw all three of them, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. You just have to turn in one of them eventually. So your task today is to try and start drawing one of these birds, the bald eagle, the blue jay, or the hummingbird. Start your drawings. Look for the lines. Look for the shapes. You guys know how to do this. You've practiced it a lot. You're going to be practicing a few more times. Your connections. Use the previous techniques that we've been learning, like how to look for lines, how to look for shapes, how to draw these lines on your new bird. If you have any questions, if my PowerPoint will turn. If you have any questions, you can always email me at afrans@amanaacademy.org. Don't worry about turning in anything today. Again, this is not going to be a turn-in day. Why are you not working with me, PowerPoint? All right, so there's my email address. All of the pictures that you will need and a copy of this PowerPoint will be in your folder, and you will also find a folder, a link to your folder on your teacher's daily sheets. And